The fog rolled down from the hills like a dying whisper, curling between the crooked trees that surrounded the forgotten village of Blackmere. Locals said the forest was cursed, that anyone who entered past the old stone well never came back whole. It wasn't a story told to scare children. It was a warning carved into the bones of those who had dared. Deep within that forest, a witch had once lived, Elenya Crowe. They called her the healer-turned-monster. They said she was burned alive for summoning storms and stealing the breath of dying men, her final scream echoing through the wind as her spirit fused with the forest itself. Now, centuries later, her curse still lived, breathing through the leaves, whispering through the wind, waiting for those foolish enough to disturb her slumber. On a cold October evening, a young folklore researcher named Clara Winslow arrived in Blackmere, chasing legends for her thesis on supernatural myths. She wasn't the type to believe in ghosts. Her mind was anchored in logic. But the village's unsettling silence, the way old women shut their doors when she asked about the witch, and the way the air grew heavier the deeper she went into the woods, it all chipped at her confidence. Clara rented an abandoned cabin on the edge of the forest, a place the locals wouldn't go near. The first night, she heard breathing, slow, rhythmic, almost human, coming from outside her window. When she opened her eyes, the fog pressed against the glass like pale skin. She dismissed it as exhaustion, but the breath fogging her window from the outside told another story. The next day, she found claw marks on the trees near the well, like someone had been dragged across them. In the well's dark water, something shimmered, a reflection that wasn't hers. She leaned closer, whispering Elenya's name, and the reflection smiled back. The nights grew longer. The cabin began to rot from the inside, black mold crawling across the walls in the shape of twisted faces. Clara's recorder caught voices, whispers saying, "Breathe her name." On the fourth night, she woke to find her breath visible even though the fire burned bright. A woman's voice filled the room cold and soft. "You called me back." In the corner stood a figure, a woman draped in torn lace, hair wet as if drowned, her mouth unnaturally wide as she exhaled a mist that danced toward Clara. The smell of ash and herbs filled the room. Clara froze, unable to move, as the witch's breath slid into her lungs, filling her chest with icy dread. In the mirror across the room, Clara saw herself, eyes black, veins rising like roots, and behind her, the witch smiling through her reflection. The next morning, Clara's journal entries changed. Her handwriting wasn't hers anymore. She wrote about hunger, about the taste of wind, about the need to breathe life from a living. Days later, hikers found her cabin door open, but Clara was gone. Only her voice recorder was found on the table, still running. The last recording was faint breathing, two voices blending into one, whispering, "I am the breath that never dies." Soon after, strange things began happening in Blackmere again. Villagers complained of cold drafts that smelled like burnt herbs, mirrors fogging up with no cause, and whispers that followed them home. A young man named Peter, who mocked the legend online, posted a video entering the forest to hunt the witch. He laughed through most of it, daring the ghost to show herself. In the final seconds, his laughter turned to choking gasps, his camera falling to the ground. The last frame showed fog thickening around the lens, and a faint reflection of a pale woman smiling through the mist. Police found only his camera and deep claw marks near the old well. After that, the forest was sealed off. The locals said the curse had been awakened again. People started disappearing, tourists, vloggers, and thrill seekers, all leaving behind the same sign, foggy mirrors, frost-bitten trees, and that smell of burnt sage. One winter night, the mayor organized a cleansing ritual with a priest and 3 villagers brave enough to enter the woods. They carried crosses, salt, and holy water. As they reached the well, the priest began to chant, but the wind rose violently. From the darkness, a woman's laughter echoed, soft at first, then piercing. One by one, their torches went out. The priest screamed, "She's in the air," before a freezing gust snuffed his breath. When the search party found them at dawn, all 4 were dead, their bodies twisted as if suffocated from within, faces frozen in silent screams. The villagers fled Blackmere after that, abandoning their homes. Only the wind remained, carrying whispers that sounded like words. A few years later, the forest grew denser, swallowing what was left of the town. Now if you walk near the ruins of Blackmere, you might see faint lights dancing between the trees, And if you stop to listen, you'll hear it, the faint, raspy sound of someone breathing right behind you. Those who hear it say the air grows cold, their lungs tightening, and in the corner of their eye, they catch a glimpse of her face, Elenya Crowe, the witch's breath, smiling as if she's found another to share her curse. The legend says she hunts those who speak her name in the wind, her breath slipping into their dreams, feeding on their fear. Clara's footage, discovered years later in the archives of a paranormal researcher, was uploaded online. In the video, the camera shakes as Clara whispers, "It's not a curse, it's contagion." Her breath spreads. Before the screen turns black, a white mist fills a frame, and a faint whisper says, "Breathe with me." Those who watch the video claim strange things happen after midnight. Mirrors fog up, windows frost from the inside, and sometimes they wake up gasping, as if something invisible was stealing their breath. The story of the witch's breath became a viral legend, but in the quiet corners of the internet, some insist it's real. Every few months, a new case emerges, a person vanishing after visiting Blackmere or whispering Elenya's name online. Experts dismiss it as hysteria, but those who've heard the recordings know better. The witch's breath never dies. It moves from lungs to lungs, voice to voice, waiting for the next believer. And if you feel the air grow colder as you finish this story, if your breath fogs just a little too much, don't look behind you. She's already there, waiting to inhale your soul into her eternal breath.